So we're back to talk about part 2 of the Creative Challenge Workbook. In this section, we've faced down in the first part the prospect of failure, the prospect of success. We've worked out some demons there. Now, once you get down to getting into the challenge, sitting down every day to write is going to take huge reserves of energy. You're going to need to be able to draw on a well of inspiration. It doesn't go super well if you have to come up with ideas every day. It can do, but it can be really comforting to know that you've got some ideas and some inspiration in your back pocket for days when you're just rushed or stressed or not feeling the inspiration. So going through this section will help you come back to this during the challenge. It'll help you figure out what inspires you, what you might want to aspire to, and things that you might want to write about. So here in this first section, you're going to write about what triggers you, what inspires you to write. Sometimes it can be books and TV shows and art and music that makes you full of passion and creativity, that really inspires you with its wit or its emotion. Sometimes it's a piece of art that you see that's terrible, like a book that you can't believe got published, and you're fueled with righteous outrage and you're like, surely I can write better than that doofus. So keep that person's name here, the person who enrages you because they're published or because they, are successful and you really can't understand why. Maybe it's music or something that is the perfect background music to your kind of writing. If you like to write about heroes, maybe you listen to heroic movie soundtracks. So think about things which inspire you. Take a few minutes to write them here and pause the video, and when you're ready, come on back. Ready? Now I want you to think about what you love in your favourite stories. Everyone has different tastes, but there's nothing that's going to stall you faster than trying to write a story that you're not in love with. And if you are not in love with mysteries and you try and write a mystery, that's going to be really hard. If you try and write a cynical Humphrey Bogart kind of character, but you're a sunny, cockeyed optimist, that's going to be really hard. So what is it? What are your favourite characters? What are your favourite things in stories? What mood do you like to be in when you're reading? Capture everything that you admire here. And anytime you find a story boring you or frustrating you, come back and look at this. Are you doing the things that you actually love? Or are you trying to write the kind of story that you think somebody's going to want to read? Remember, you are your first reader. You need to love the thing that you're writing on some level. Even if it's not perfect, you need to love it. So fill out this, pause the video and have a go at this one. And then we'll come back for the flip side of this. Are you back? Okay. What do you hate in a creative work? What enrages you? I mean, I don't just mean what bores you, what are you apathetic about? What enrages you when you see it? It could be a topic. It could be a technique. Maybe you hate it when people have no dialogue in their work. Maybe you hate it when it's all dialogue. What kinds of characters just drive you up the wall? Fire yourself up to write the antidote to that. And if you ever find yourself doing the things that generally enrage you, you'll know you're off track and you can find your way back to what you want to be writing. So, okay, pause the video. Think about a work of art, a book, a movie, even a real person who has all of the character traits, all of the technique problems that just enrage you. Indulge in a little rant. Go. Right, now, the next section is really important because readers react to our stories. That's what they're there for. That's what they're in it for. They're in it to get something out of it. They're not really They are, the readers are interested in beautiful language and beautiful imagery and all of that kind of stuff. But if you leave them cold emotionally, they're not going to connect with your story. So it's useful for you to know what kinds of emotions you want to be eliciting in your readers and when. In different parts of different stories, you can do all of this. Generally, if you're writing for a young audience, you want to lard your stories up with wonder and oohs and ahs. If you're writing for a middle-aged audience, you might want more puzzles and more mystery. That seems to be where those readers go. And if you are writing for people in their early 20s and 30s, you're going to want different kind of emotions. Maybe hope and optimism and romance, maybe cynicism, maybe fear, maybe thrills. So what kind of tone are you most comfortable with? And if you don't know this yet, it's okay, because you will discover it. Over a month of writing, you'll discover that you are naturally more comfortable writing stories full of wonder and awe. And maybe you're a sci-fi writer or a YA writer, and that's probably where you are, in that wonder space. Or you may find that dystopia is your thing, but you might not know that yet. But just think about, if you don't know what you love to write already, think about stories that you've enjoyed and the kinds of emotions they've elicited in you and what you might want to do for your readers. So pause the video and do that. And now we get to do another little aspirational piece. Tone's important because that's the thing that's going to excite your readers, the emotions. So I want you to take a few minutes to just indulge yourself. Imagine that you've heard from a reader. You've written a story that was meant to make them cry. And you hear from a reader that they cried their eyes out in the best possible way at your story. How's that going to feel? Maybe you could write a letter here from your ideal reader who's just read one of your stories and loved it. Write a fan letter to yourself. You don't need to show this to anyone ever. You could, this one page I'll let you burn after you read it, after you write it, or you can just keep it there and never look at it again. Really let yourself imagine what it would be like to get fan mail from someone who got your story. And after this, we're going to go into the third section, which is about preparing practically for the challenge.